Imagine waking up in a nightmare, surrounded by thousands of siblings who want you dead, damp, blind, and flat as a soggy pancake. Greetings from a sand trout. No, you're not a lovely lion cub or a chirping young bird, rather, you're a slippery piece of alien leather in a dark underground hellscape, leaking acid and frantically avoiding dissolution by your siblings, who incidentally, find you attractive. Survival is a blood sport in the first few seconds of life. Dull luck is the only thing keeping you from becoming someone else's breakfast soup. As you struggle for a droplet of water that is little bigger than a fingernail, you crawl across the decaying bodies of your relatives. Not only is it disgusting, but you are the cannon fodder in biological warfare. It may surprise you to learn that this is the most enjoyable aspect of your life. You are a thoughtless, flat blob for years, yes, years. You are unable to think, eat, or sleep. Slithering through the sand and smelling out minute traces of water from kilometers distant is your only job. You and your repulsive leather siblings swarm it like some kind of living, grotesque sponge whenever you locate any moisture at all. You reshape the landscape and shut off water pockets as you unite, split, and reform. You're not adorable. You're not a good person. You are an organism that stores water, secretes unbreakable slime, and engages in casual cannibalism. You're basically a biological monster who is obsessed with staying hydrated. What do you think about teamwork? Crushing younger siblings in order to control puddles. Have fun. Then, however, something shifts. You start to feel a little strange after decades of slithering. You're developing. Slowly. In agony. Your smooth skin folds into armored parts, thickens, and wrinkles. You lengthen. Your chemical makeup changes. You are more than a sand trout now. You're changing. You're changing. However, don't anticipate fireworks. It takes years to undergo this change. Imagine spending 10 years stuck in puberty, buried in sand, and developing into a terrifying, uncertain creature. Your entire body forms a tube. Your internal environment shifts. Your outer armor gets thick and almost impregnable. It's uncomfortable. It hurts. That's the cost of turning into the monster you were destined to be. At last, you come out. As a young sandworm, not as a pretty butterfly. 20 meters of teeth, strength, and armor, all encased in a primitive brain still learning how to steer. Now that you're a minor, congrats. You're officially terrifying. You may now vacuum entire sand dunes instead of just soaking water. What do you eat? Everything. Every day, you process tons of sand, separating minerals and organic materials to extract nutrients. Effective? Not even close. You are essentially a waste disposal system that relies on sand and lacks an off switch. It's disastrous to learn how to move this huge physique. You thrash around dunes, inadvertently break through the surface, and occasionally crash into rocks or other equally bewildered worms. It lacks grace. It isn't magnificent. Until your nervous system learns to coordinate, it's just painful crashes and uncomfortable flopping, then the instincts take over. You've changed into a predator, or more precisely, a sand glider with serious boundary problems. It's time to fight when you sense another worm crawling close to your domain. Because you don't like to share dirt, two enormous armored tubes are thrashing underground, sending shockwaves that can be felt kilometers away. The battles are huge and nearly invariably in vain. You're engaged in conflict for territory that consists solely of additional sand, nutrients, and the same never-ending cycle. However, instinct disregards reason. You fight because it's expected of you. You defend your personal space. Your dunes are within your control. Your senses also change throughout time. Even the smallest tremor may now be felt from 50 kilometers away. You know, a pebble shifts in the next province. You sense another worm blinking 2 dunes over. Although it sounds amazing, this is a nightmare. There is no mute button. No respite. You simply have to cope with the constant barrage of information that enters your head. You're an adult now. A behemoth, not simply an adult. More than 200 meters long and still expanding. Your crystalline, razor-sharp teeth are constantly growing back. Sand processing never ends. You're always on the go. You are a geological force on the move. Your life hasn't changed, though. Crawl, eat, and defend. Do it again. If you could experience boredom at all, the monotony is unbearable. At least you're virtually unbeatable now, though. Your own flesh? Almost unbreakable. How big are you? Unrivaled. Your social life? Not at all. Something deep within you stirs once every few decades. You must locate a partner. This entails leaving your zone, you guessed it. Dangerous enterprise. You search for another adult worm that is willing to not devour you by crawling over perilous dunes for miles. To put it mildly, the ritual is awkward. Like a couple of seismic ballroom dancers, you circle each other underground, causing rhythmic vibrations. If all goes according to plan, mating takes place in a frenzied whirlwind of writhing bodily parts. It is awkward, enormous, and ends swiftly. After that, you both head straight back to your own regions, most likely hoping that you won't have to do it ever again. The last stage is the passing of colossal decay centuries. At this point, your length exceeds 400 meters. More myth than monster. At the first sign of your presence, younger worms run away. You are more of a moving landmark than a living being. However, that size has a cost. Your nervous system starts to malfunction because you're so big. Your body stops reacting in unison in certain parts. The movements slow down. It takes kilometers to turn. It takes hours of preparation to stop. Finally, your body begins to fail under the weight of your own weight because you are too large for your own benefit. However, you don't actually die. You have too much regenerative power. Rather, your body starts to progressively disintegrate. Parts separate. Others start to develop their own nerve systems. You're dividing, not dying. It was a 1,000-year-old giant that broke up into fresh proto-worms. What was your last clear idea? Through the sand, there was a vibrating whisper. I broke apart like an overgrown garden hose after all this time and work. Outstanding legacy. You can feel the water even in your last moments. Just as your body breaks down, that old sand trout instinct comes back to life. Wetness. Moisture is always present. Your obsession won't go away, not even death. The cycle starts over. Primitive instinct and hunger cause your fragments to start absorbing water, combining, and fighting. From your remnants, the next generation emerges, prepared to continue living the same ridiculous life. Nothing is altered. There is no end. It turns out that the universe is cruelly funny. How about you? An immortal, moisture-obsessed sand sausage destined to repeat the same absurd tale forever. You are the joke. Please like this video if you like this exploration of the strange and depressing life cycle of a sandworm. If you're interested in more bizarre, sinister, and captivating adventures seen through the eyes of creatures you'd never want to be, please subscribe to the channel and join us for more surreal survival stories.